back to another tea talk with Lake Missoula Tea Company. We've got Ganilla, who is our research and development R&D person. She comes up with the blend, she works with me on them, she makes revisions, she also fixes some of them sometimes. I'm Heather, and I'm one of the owners, and I help guide where some of these teas go and what flavors we're trying to profile. And today, Ganilla, why don't you tell us what we're looking at?
Today we are doing what's part of my favorite job, is making up new blends. And we have a new Earl Grey and a new green.
I would say it's a green.
A green, yeah. Let's start with the Earl Grey Whisper. You can tell. That's kind of your story.
Okay, sure. The Earl Grey Whisper. The intent behind this is I'm not a huge Earl Grey fan. Actually, I can drink like an Earl Grey and then I don't want it for a while. Though it's the most popular blend in the world. And that's great, that's really great, but I had the idea that maybe we should have a lighter Earl Grey and maybe taste the tea more. So what you're going to notice is we've picked kind of I kind of feel as like a low tasting black, and then it's got this pillow or this cloud of a little bit of Earl Grey on it, a little bit of bergamot. And that's what we're shooting for in this particular blend. So if you get this and you're like, I don't really taste the Earl Grey, it's like, well, that's intentional. It should just be light.
It's definitely, I smell it right out of the bag. But the tea we use, it's a baked tea, so it's got these really nice sweet baked properties.
Right.
And it goes really well with the Earl Grey, with the bergamot.
So you're noticing Ganilla is, she's got a scale here. You don't particularly have to do this, but we're shooting for 5 grams for every 16 ounces. These happen to be 16 ounces, 2 cups. If you were doing 1 cup, you would do 2.5 grams, which is generally like a teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half, depending on the fluffiness of the tea. This is a pretty fluffy tea. Yeah, so yeah, we call this a fluffy tea. It's pretty leafy, and so it has a lot of air in between it. But you might even be able to get a second steep out of this. You might not get as much bergamot out of it, but you definitely could taste the tea again.
And our next teas are Tiramisu, our green tea. It is quite an unusual green tea. It's our hojicha, which is a toasted, what's it called? Roasted.
Cookie cha.
Hojicha. Yeah.
Right.
It's a toasted cookie cha.
Which it makes it a hojicha.
Which makes it a hojicha.
So why it's funny that we're calling it a green is because it's not actually green, because it's roasted, and it's kind of like, what? This is green, but yes, it is classified as a green tea. It's a roasted green tea. So cookie cha means stem tea. Hojicha means roasted cookie cha.
Yeah.
So this is using the hojicha, which you guys may recognize as being a Japanese type of tea.
And I've long had the idea of making a sweeter, like dessert kind of blend with this, because the hojicha has very unique taste that you don't get in any other tea. I feel like black tea or even like in the herbal world, like there's nothing really like the hojicha.
And it's just
but it has such a nice toasted that flavor that goes really well with our nutty chocolatey blend that we came up with here.
And
I'm gonna start.
She's gonna start adding the water to it. And as we mentioned before, on any of our bags, you'll see the name of the tea. You'll have the amount of tea you should use. It's got the temperature and how long you should roast it. It's just a starting point. Some of you might be very used to this at this point. What I just realized while we were talking about these teas, that they both kind of have one's more nutty and one's more baked, but they're both kind of roasty, toasty a little bit. Yeah. Which I think this tea company lends itself, kind of likes that style a little bit.
I think so. It's definitely me and Heather's preferred.
Yeah, we have that. So you might notice that with some of our teas. Right, and we actually, with the hojicha, I think we added some cacao husk.
Yeah.
And some cacao nib. And oddly, with the cacao husk and the cacao nib, guess which one is more cacao-y or chocolatey? Yeah, you're thinking which one? So it's the husks. It's actually amazing that the husks really pack a punch when it comes to having that cacao flavor, kind of on the verge of being chocolate. So there's some notes of that. I keep going over here because I'm watching the time. We're shooting for the 3 minutes on this. Both of these could probably, I think the hojicha in particular can have a longer steep.
Oh yeah.
You could probably go 5 minutes on it.
Actually, that one, because the tea base in this is very generous to longer steeps.
And it won't get that tanniny that you might get with another
yeah.
black, or that tanniny flavor that you can get with the green sometimes, that sharpness. That's right. Both. So these, oddly, they were kind of made at the same time, around the same time, and they're coming from very different angles and purposes, but they carry a lot of the same characteristics. Yeah. And we may have 3.5. This says 3.4. This one says 3.4. You could probably go 5 if you really got used to it and you're like, yeah, I like that bolder, that stronger flavor to it. Yeah. So we are going to shoot, I think, for 5 to really get that boldness to it.
10?
Okay, we've hit our 5 minutes, and I'm just going to put these in the sink.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pull this out. These are just some steepers. We steep. You notice how this is kind of rudimentary, and we're not even using teapots. This is, you can brew tea this way. It's in a cup. We could have had it in a cup and done a pour over. We'll show you that in the future, but right now these are just strainers that fit into this cup, and it works for us. All right.
Let's try the Earl Grey
That sounds
Whisper.
great. Yeah. Ganella's gonna burn her hands. There we go. And I'll grab this pour over cup if we need it. If we don't want to do it too much. And I just love the smell.
Yeah, it's so delicious.
The smell actually really impacts how you taste the tea. So you'll notice kind of smelling and then you're drinking it. As some of you might know, if you can't smell very well, you might not be able to taste very well. Some of you really experienced that during COVID, right? You're like, oh my God, am I ever gonna taste anything again? And get your smell back. So we really appreciate what aroma does for the taste of food and the taste of drink. And this one is it's just delightful, I think.
It's so mild and gentle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentle, but also very there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gentle, but very, I don't know, Ganil and I often will have like ways to describe tea that it's almost like it takes a shape, or it will be like a type of music, or this one is just really grounded, I guess.
Yeah. It's like a robust setting with like all this light.
Yeah, on the outside, which would be the bergamot in this case.
Yeah.
It helped, so we can communicate really well because we have, I would say, similar taste.
And we worked together for 6 years now, so we...
Yeah, but we also like similar food,
Yeah.
I think, too. And we've shared recipes, so I know that we're kind of on the same, we have a similar palate, maybe is the way to say that. I think this is just great. I could drink this all day. Me, the person that doesn't like bergamot all day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do here, because I know I have to pace myself. And now, we're going from this robust bowl to this, I would almost say dessert.
Dessert tea, yeah. It is the dessert tea. That's the name. Hints at.
And a tiramisu, you know, it'll have they call it lady fingers, right?
Yeah.
It'll have the lady fingers, and then typically soaked in like a coffee, and then having a little bit of chocolate with it too.
And cream, I think.
And
There's
cream.
always some of these,
So
layers to it.
I think the toastiness is part of how we're getting that coffee, where it doesn't taste like coffee, but it has a characteristic of coffee.
Yeah.
And
darker, roastier.
It's just,
taste.
but it's very bizarre how this tastes like tiramisu. And if
You went to a restaurant and had some.
we went to Biga, which is downtown Missoula, Montana, and they make excellent calzones and also pizzas, and they have tiramisu for dessert. So we went down and we're like, are we on the right track here? And my family and I went down and had it, and it's like, yeah, it passed the test. The name of this passed the test. What we were shooting for made sense.
Yeah.
And this aroma just, it's just fabulous. I'm using funny words, but it's true. It's really good.
It's sweet, nutty. It's
The chocolate's there too.
chocolatey.
Yeah, the cacao's there. And for those of you that don't know, cacao is the unheated version of chocolate. So cacao is at kind of the natural state. They remove the husk, and then they'll heat the nibs, and then the nibs become chocolate. So then you have cocoa instead of cacao. And it's odd that the words are so similar and coming from the same plant. It's just the way it is. So this is actually cacao, and it is the husk.
Yeah, the raw product.
The raw product.
No sugar added, no nothing.
And you wouldn't know that because it just has such a sweetness to it. If you're curious about these teas, you know where to get them. You can go online, like MissoulaTeaCompany.com. You can step into our tea shop downtown Missoula, Montana. Ask any of our very educated, very professional, very passionate tea tenders about either one of these teas or anything else you're curious about. And hey, like us on Instagram and like us on YouTube. Thanks a lot, folks. Talk to you soon. Bye.